Admiral Park stood tall on the bridge of the UES Horizon, Earth's finest starship. Through the massive viewport, she watched the approaching Confederation fleet, 27 different alien vessels, each representing a different spacefaring species. "Admiral, they're hailing us," said Communications Officer Ryu. Park straightened her uniform. On screen, the main display flickered to life, revealing a blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes. "Greetings, humans. I am High Commander Velner of the Galactic Confederation. We welcome you to the stars." Cautiously. "Thank you, Commander. I am Admiral Park of Earth. We come in peace and friendship." Behind Velnar, other aliens whispered among themselves. One tall, insect-like creature leaned forward. "How did you achieve faster-than-light travel so quickly? Your species was using combustion engines mere centuries ago." Park smiled diplomatically. "Innovation often comes from necessity, sir." The UES Horizon docked at the massive Confederation station. Through the airlock windows, Park could see hundreds of aliens gathering to witness humanity's official arrival. Commander Telix, a reptilian security chief, met them at the airlock. "Their technology is so primitive," he muttered to his assistant. "Look at their ship, crude propulsion, basic shielding, archaic weapons systems. Yet they crossed the void with such limited resources," his assistant replied. Telix snorted. "Lucky, perhaps, or dangerous." The human delegation followed Telix through the station's wide corridors. Aliens of all shapes and sizes stopped to stare. Some looked curious, others fearful. "The welcome ceremony will begin shortly," Telix explained. "The council representatives from all 27 species will be present." The ceremony hall was enormous, with high ceilings and strange, twisting architecture. Park led her team to the center platform, while alien diplomats took their seats. Captain Kim, Park's second-in-command, whispered, "Half these species look at us like we're dangerous animals." "That's why we need to make a good impression," Park replied. The Confederation president, a tall being with glowing skin, approached the podium. "Today marks a historic." A loud explosion cut off his words. Smoke filled the room as armed figures stormed in from side entrances. "Protect the humans," someone shouted. "No, they are the target," yelled another voice. Captain Kim grabbed Park's arm. "Ambush. Get down." The human security team immediately formed a protective circle around the diplomats. They were outnumbered 4-1 by the attackers, a rogue faction opposed to human inclusion in the Confederation. "Impossible," whispered Captain Kim as she watched from behind a fallen table. "We're outnumbered 4-1. But the human security team moved with surprising coordination. They used the strange alien furniture as cover, made improvised shields from decorative panels, and employed synchronized tactics that confused the attackers. One human guard rolled across the floor, drawing fire while another flanked the enemy. 2 more worked together to disarm a particularly large attacker, using their smaller size to outmaneuver him. The aliens watched in shock as the humans, supposedly the primitive newcomers, expertly handled the situation. Within minutes, the attack was over. The human team had subdued the attackers with minimal casualties. Diplomat Lee, straightening his jacket, approached the stunned Confederation representatives. "We apologize for the disruption. Our security personnel handled it adequately, I hope." The alien Admiral Ornthak tilted his elongated head. His 4 tentacles twitched with confusion. Those were security personnel, not specialized combat units. "Standard protection detail," Lee replied with a shrug. "Nothing special." The aliens exchanged worried glances. Later, in a private chamber, the Confederation leaders gathered. "Did you see how they fought?" asked a bird-like diplomat. "Such coordination, such adaptability." "They used our environmental features against the attackers," noted another. "Learning and adapting in real time." Admiral Ornthak paced the room. "Their ship technology seems primitive, yet their combat capabilities are concerning." "Perhaps their priorities differ from ours," suggested the Confederation president. We advanced our travel technology over millennia of peace. They clearly developed other skills first. What kind of species focuses on combat before space travel? Someone asked. A dangerous one, replied Ornthek, or one that has faced dangers we cannot imagine. Back on the horizon, Admiral Park debriefed her team. They underestimate us, said Captain Kim. Did you see their faces when our security team took control? Park nodded. Perhaps that's for the best for now. Let them think we're just lucky primitives who stumbled into the stars. And when they discover we're not. Park looked out at the alien fleet surrounding them. By then, I hope we've proven we come as friends, not conquerors. But today made one thing clear. The galaxy is more dangerous than we thought. And humanity is more capable than they thought, added Kim. Park smiled slightly. Yes, and they haven't seen anything yet. 3 weeks after the attack at the welcome ceremony, the Confederation called an emergency council meeting. The video screens around the circular chamber showed footage of the human security team in action. Look at their movements, said Council Leader Mix, a tall being with silver skin. No wasted motion. Perfect coordination without obvious communication. Chief Security Officer Telix nodded. We must know what we're dealing with. A test, suggested Science Minister Zorlak. A series of challenges to measure their true capabilities. The Council agreed unanimously. The next day, Admiral Park received the official invitation. The Confederation wishes to assess Earth's technological readiness through friendly competition, she read aloud to her team. Captain Kim frowned. Friendly? This is about seeing how dangerous we are. Perhaps, said Park. But it's also an opportunity to show what humans can do. The challenges would be held on Nexus Station, a massive Confederation research facility. 5 tests: weapon development, computer programming, resource extraction, engineering innovation, and medical advancement. Chief Examiner Vril, a 6-limbed being with compound eyes, oversaw the tests. This will expose their limitations, he told his aide quietly. The resource extraction efficiency test will surely demonstrate their technological inadequacy. His aide nodded. Their primitive mining methods can't possibly compete with techniques we've refined over thousands of years. Engineer Choi led the human team for the resource extraction challenge. She studied the test parameters with a frown. They expect us to drill into the test asteroid and extract specific minerals, she told her team. But look at this waste material they've accumulated from previous extractions. She pointed to massive piles of discarded material near the testing ground. Why mine new material when there's plenty right here? She said with a smile. When the test began, the alien observers watched in confusion as the human team largely ignored the asteroid. Instead, they built a rapid processing system that separated and refined the discarded materials from previous mining operations. What are they doing? Vril asked, puzzled. That's not extraction, that's recycling. By the test's end, Engineer Choi's team had recovered 178% of the expected mineral yield without drilling a single new hole. This is remarkable, admitted Science Minister Zorlak as he reviewed the results. Your approach is unorthodox. Choi shrugged. On Earth, we learned to be efficient with limited resources. The engineering challenge came next. Each species had to demonstrate their most advanced portable energy technology. Professor Kang unwrapped a device the size of a small suitcase. This is a 3rd-generation portable fusion reactor, she explained. It can power a small city for approximately 5 years without refueling. The alien engineers fell silent. One dropped a data pad. That's impossible, whispered one. Fusion at that scale would require. Kang activated the device. A soft blue glow emanated from its core, and the energy meters in the room spiked dramatically. The Confederation's chief scientist, a being with 4 independently moving eyes, approached carefully. You've miniaturized fusion technology to this degree. You've had this technology for how long? About 30 years, Kang replied casually. But widespread implementation was delayed due to market forces and political circumstances. You solved one of the fundamental energy problems in the galaxy and shelved it because of economics. The alien scientist's 4 eyes blinked in asynchronous disbelief. Kang looked uncomfortable. There were concerns about disrupting existing energy industries. Jobs would be lost. Power structures would change. The alien scientists whispered urgently among themselves. That evening, the Confederation leadership held another emergency meeting. They recycle waste we've been discarding for centuries, said Zorlak. They've had fusion technology for decades but haven't fully implemented it. Their weapons test was equally disturbing, added military commander Drax. They designed defense systems we never considered. Council leader Mix looked troubled. These humans, they think differently. They see solutions where we see only problems. Or perhaps they see problems differently, suggested Telex. Admiral Park and her team celebrated their successful day in their quarters. Did you see their faces when Kang powered up the fusion reactor? Captain Kim laughed. We should be careful, warned Park. We're not here to frighten them. They're the ones testing us, Kim pointed out. Park nodded slowly. Yes, but I wonder if they realize they're being tested too. What do you mean? We're learning just as much about them as they are about us, Park said. Their technology is advanced in some ways, but they've stopped innovating. They follow established patterns. While we, Kim started, while we adapt, finished Park. And that might scare them more than any technology we possess. Outside their quarters, listening devices recorded every word. In the monitoring room, Vril and Zorlak exchanged worried glances. What have we invited into the Confederation? Zorlak whispered. The emergency alarms blared throughout the Confederation headquarters. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Alien diplomats and military officers rushed to the Central Command Center. Admiral Park and her human delegation were awakened by the commotion. Captain Kim accessed the station's information network. The Void Reavers have attacked Proxima Node, she reported grimly. It's one of their most important outposts. Park frowned. The Void Reavers? Who are they? A hostile species from the Outer Rim. The Confederation has been in conflict with them for decades. The human delegation hurried to the command center. Inside, chaos reigned. The large viewing screen showed a massive attack in progress. Strange, dark ships with sharp, blade-like edges swarmed around a Confederation outpost. Council leader Mix noticed the humans enter. Admiral Park, I apologize for this disruption. You may want to prepare your ship for departure. Departure? Park asked. Yes, most non-military delegations are evacuating. The Void Reavers have never attacked this close to the core systems before. It could escalate. Park exchanged glances with her team. We're not leaving, she said firmly. A surprised murmur ran through the command center. In fact, Park continued, we'd like to offer assistance. That's appreciated, said Military Commander Drax. But your single ship would be of little help against the Reavers. General Song stepped forward. We have more than one ship, Commander. Silence fell across the room. Explain, demanded Drax. We've been maintaining defensive capability since first contact, explained General Song. Standard protocol. Earth's space fleet includes 17 combat-ready vessels currently positioned throughout your neighboring systems. The alien leaders stared in shock. You brought a war fleet into Confederation space without informing us. Telex asked, his voice rising. No, Song replied calmly. We brought security. Now we're offering help. After heated debate, the Confederation accepted Earth's offer. They needed every ship they could get. 3 days later, the combined fleet engaged the Void Reavers at Proxima Node. The battle was broadcast to the command center, where both Confederation leaders and the human delegation watched tensely. Captain Ba led the human vessels. Her flagship, the UES Thunder, moved in unexpected patterns that confused the Void Reavers' targeting systems. Delta formation, she ordered her fleet. Staggered approach, just like we practiced. The human ships broke into smaller groups, approaching from multiple vectors. They used the system's asteroid field for cover, sometimes hiding behind larger Confederation vessels before darting out to attack. "What are they doing?" asked a Confederation tactician. "That's not standard combat doctrine." On screen, the human vessels executed a perfect pincer movement, trapping a group of Reaver ships between them and the system's sun. The blinding light from the star disabled the Reaver's optical targeting systems. "Fire all batteries," ordered Captain Bai. The Void Reaver ships exploded in silent bursts of light. The battle continued for hours. The human ships moved in formations the Void Reavers couldn't predict, using maneuvers that seemed to defy both physics and logical strategy. They sacrificed speed for unexpected directional changes, sometimes even shutting down engines to drift silently past enemy sensors. "They fight like no species we've ever encountered," whispered Commander Drax, watching the display with wide eyes. By the battle's end, the Void Reavers retreated. Proxima Node was saved, largely thanks to the human fleet's unconventional tactics. In the command center, the mood was mixed. Relief at victory, unease about human capabilities. Intelligence Officer Zren approached his commander with a datapad. "Sir, I've completed my analysis of human battle tactics. And these battle formations," the officer reported, "they're adapted from something called naval warfare from their pre-space era. They've been perfecting combat strategy against themselves for thousands of years." Commander Drax's skin paled. Thousands of years. They've been at war with themselves for millennia. Yes. They call it history. Their planet has seen almost continuous warfare throughout their recorded time. Different nations, ideologies, religions. They'd fought over everything. And yet they present themselves as peaceful explorers. Drax asked, his voice low. "They are both," came the unsettling reply. "Their conflicts drove their innovation. Their weapons became increasingly deadly, forcing them to develop better diplomatic solutions. Their warriors and peacekeepers simultaneously." Later, at the victory celebration, Admiral Park raised a glass with the Confederation leaders. The mood was polite but tense. "To cooperation," she said. Council Leader Mix nodded. "Indeed. Though I must ask, Admiral, why didn't you inform us of your additional ships?" Park smiled slightly. "Would you have trusted us if we had?" "Perhaps not," admitted Mix. "But now we're left wondering what else humanity hasn't told us." "Only what you haven't asked," Park replied. "We come in peace, truly. But we're not naive." "So we see," said Mix, watching as human officers chatted with Confederation personnel, exchanging battle stories like old friends. "You adapt to peace just as readily as war." "We've had practice at both," said Park quietly. "More than you know." The Grand Council chamber of the Confederation had never been so full. Representatives from all 27 species crowded the tiered seating. Even those who normally sent only junior delegates had dispatched their highest officials. The topic that had drawn them all: humanity. 2 weeks had passed since the Battle of Proxima Node. The victory should have brought celebration. But instead, it brought fear. The Void Reavers, who had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, had been defeated with surprising ease by human tactics. Council Leader Mix called the emergency session to order. "Today we address the human question," he announced. The room fell silent. Intelligence Officer Zren stepped forward. Activating the central display, images of Earth appeared: blue oceans, green continents, sprawling cities. "Our investigation into human history has revealed disturbing facts," Zren began. "Earth unified as a planetary government only 50 standard years ago. Before that, they existed as separate nations in constant competition and frequent conflict." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Despite this fractured existence, their technological advancement rate during periods of conflict exceeds anything we've witnessed in other species. Their weapons evolved from simple chemical explosives to atomic weapons in less than 100 years. Their communication technology went from primitive radio to planetary networks in a similar time span. Commander Drax leaned forward. How is this possible? Our species took thousands of years to make similar advancements. Competition and necessity, Zren explained. When one human nation developed a technology, others raced to improve upon it. What we achieved through careful, methodical research, they accomplished through desperate innovation during wartime. The display showed images of human wars, ancient battles with simple weapons, then increasingly destructive conflicts culminating in their Second World War. After nearly destroying themselves multiple times, they began to moderate their development. They established ethical guidelines and international treaties. Many advanced technologies were restricted or abandoned entirely. Senior diplomat Eklara, a tall being with translucent skin, looked troubled. You're suggesting they could have advanced much further. Our models indicate they're operating at approximately 40% of their technological potential, confirmed Zren. Shocked whispers filled the room. We must hear from them directly, declared Council Leader Mix. The human delegation was summoned. Ambassador Yoon led his team into the chamber, noting the tense atmosphere immediately. Ambassador, began Mix, we have reviewed your species' history and development. We have questions. Senior diplomat Eklara stepped forward. Your technological advancement rate during your periods of conflict exceeds anything we've witnessed in other species. Are we to understand your species hasn't even been trying to reach its potential? Ambassador Yoon looked uncomfortable. He glanced at Admiral Park, who nodded slightly. We've been intentionally moderating our development to achieve social stability, Yoon explained. History has taught us that technological progress without ethical framework leads to disaster. The council hall erupted in murmurs. You achieved in decades what took other species millennia, said Mix, while fighting among yourselves and deliberately holding back. We consider it responsible growth, replied Yoon. A reptilian counselor stood. You developed atomic weapons before you had computers. Do you understand how dangerous that development path is? Of course we do, said Admiral Park, stepping forward. We lived it. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times. That's why we now balance innovation with ethics. What else are you holding back? Demanded Commander Drax. Ambassador Yoon hesitated. We have theoretical work in many fields that we haven't pursued to completion. Dimensional physics, consciousness transfer, matter-energy conversion. Why? Asked Eklara, genuinely confused. Why stop progress? Because some knowledge requires wisdom to wield properly, explained Yoon. We learned that lesson the hard way. The Confederation representatives exchanged troubled glances. And your combat capabilities? Asked Commander Drax. Those tactics at Proxima Node. Adaptations of historical strategies, said Admiral Park. Nothing special. Nothing special, repeated Drax. Yet you defeated an enemy we've struggled with for centuries. After the human delegation departed, the council remained in session. We must recalculate everything, said Intelligence Officer Zren. All our predictions about human development were based on their current technology. If they'd been intentionally limiting themselves, then what are they truly capable of? Finished Mix. Outside the council chamber, Ambassador Yoon and Admiral Park walked quietly down the corridor. They're afraid of us now, said Yoon. Park nodded. They should be. Not because we're dangerous, but because we represent something they've never encountered. What's that? A species that learned from its mistakes, Park replied. They developed in relative peace, with careful, methodical progress. We evolved through fire and blood, and it shows in everything we do, how we fight, how we think, how we solve problems. Will they accept us now? Asked Yoon. Park watched as alien officials whispered urgently in doorways, their eyes following the humans as they passed. They don't have much choice, she said. The galaxy just got a lot smaller for everyone. Intelligence Officer Zren stood before the Confederation Council, his normally calm demeanor shaken. On the large display behind him, intercepted communications scrolled past, messages between Void Reaver commanders. "We have confirmed something disturbing," Zren announced. "The Void Reavers' recent attacks weren't random. They specifically targeted areas where humans were present or expected." Council leader Mix frowned. "They fear humans. But why? Humans are newcomers to the galactic stage. Not humans as they are," Zren clarified, "but what they might become." He displayed a Void Reaver intelligence assessment of Earth. Their predictive models show human advancement accelerating beyond anything we've seen. They wanted to eliminate the threat before it fully emerged. The council fell silent as they absorbed this information. Later that day, Admiral Park received a message requesting her presence at an emergency session. When she arrived with her team, the atmosphere was tense. "Admiral," began Mix, "we face a difficult situation. The Void Reavers targeted humanity out of fear. This puts the Confederation in a precarious position." Commander Drax was more direct. "Some council members suggest we should distance ourselves from Earth. Others believe we should restrict your technology development." Park exchanged glances with her team. This was the moment they had prepared for. "We understand your concerns," she said, "but we have a different proposal." Dr. Han stepped forward. "Instead of military alliances or restrictions, we propose joint research initiatives, open collaboration between all our species. We believe cooperation advances everyone faster than competition." Dr. Han explained to the puzzled assembly. "On Earth, our greatest leaps forward came when nations worked together, not against each other." "Pretty words," said a skeptical counselor. "But why would you share your advantages?" Admiral Park signaled to her aide, who brought forward several data crystals. As a show of good faith, Park said, "Earth has developed solutions to several problems the Confederation has labeled unsolvable." She inserted the first crystal into the central console. Diagrams appeared showing a molecular structure. "This is a cure for the mephitic plague that decimated 3 civilizations last century," she explained. "Our medical researchers developed it after studying the virus for only 6 months." Gasps echoed around the chamber. "The second crystal contains designs for radiation shields that can withstand proximity to neutron stars, enabling mining of rare elements previously considered inaccessible." The Rigelian representative, a being with crystalline features, leaned forward. "Why would you share this freely? These advances are worth incalculable wealth and influence." "Because the purpose of advancement is to improve lives," Park answered simply. "What other purpose could there be?" The alien representatives exchanged confused glances. In their long histories, technological advantage had always been hoarded, used for political or economic gain. "We've made mistakes on our path to the stars," continued Park. "Terrible ones. We learned that knowledge without compassion leads to destruction. We don't want to repeat those mistakes on a galactic scale." The council debated for days. Some members remained suspicious, others were intrigued. But Earth's approach was unprecedented, offering solutions without demanding power in return. Gradually, joint research initiatives formed. Human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, approaching old problems with fresh perspectives. Species that had stagnated for millennia found new inspiration in human methodology, not just in technology, but in art, philosophy, and social structures. 3 months later, the first breakthrough came, a new propulsion system developed by a team of humans, Rigelians, and Zaxthar engineers. It was 60% more efficient than any previous design. "We've been approaching the problem from the same angle for centuries," admitted the lead Zaxthar engineer. "The humans asked questions we never thought to ask." Similar successes followed. Medical treatments improved. Communication systems evolved. Even the Confederation's governing structure began to change, incorporating human concepts of representation and debate. One evening, Ambassador Kai stood alone on the observation deck of Confederation headquarters. The station had entered Earth orbit for a diplomatic conference. Below, the night side of the planet was visible, cities glowing like stars against the darkness, connected by threads of light. "Beautiful, isn't it?" remarked an alien diplomat who had joined her. Kai recognized Council Leader Mix, who had been among the most skeptical about Earth's inclusion. "It is," Kai agreed. "And we're just getting started." Mix turned his 4 eyes toward her. "You know, when we first met your species, we thought you were dangerous. Now we understand the truth. Which is, you are dangerous, but not in the way we feared. Your ideas are more powerful than any weapon. You challenge assumptions we've held for millennia." Kai smiled. "Change can be frightening." "Yes," Mix agreed, "but necessary. My species has existed for 12,000 years. We've changed more in the 6 months since meeting humans than in the previous 1,000 years." Below them, a new dawn was breaking over Earth's horizon, golden light spreading across the curve of the planet. "The Void Reavers were right to fear what humanity might become," Mix said thoughtfully. "But they missed the most important part." "What's that?" asked Kai. "That you wanted to bring everyone with you." Mix gestured to the stars beyond Earth. "And now, none of us will remain the same."